Hello, Arsenal fans. Welcome back to Gooner News London, your go-to source for all things Arsenal. A huge thank you for your continued support and for always tuning in. Today, I've gathered the top Arsenal news you won't want to miss. This video might be a bit longer than usual, but if you stick around to the end, you'll catch all the important updates. Trust me, today's news is crucial. Arsenal fans, we need to talk. The season is slipping away, and there's a lot on the table right now. First, the big question. Why hasn't Arsenal signed a proper striker yet, and what's the risk if they don't act fast? Then, there's some exciting news. Could a Bundesliga star be on his way to fix our attack? And finally, we'll dive into a hot debate. Is Mikel Arteta still the right man for the job, or is it time to start thinking about alternatives? Let's get into it. Arsenal have received a boost in their pursuit of Benjamin Sesko after failing to secure the striker during the summer transfer window. Last summer, Arsenal made a determined effort to bring Cesco to North London. The club's interest was no secret, and the young forward's talent was undeniable. However, despite Arsenal's best efforts, Cesco chose to remain at RB Leipzig, committing his future to the German side with a contract extension until 2029. For many players, such a decision might have invited skepticism, but for Cesco, it was a calculated move that underscored his maturity and commitment to personal growth. His choice has since been vindicated as he continues to shine brightly in one of Europe's toughest leagues. At just 21 years old, Benjamin Cesco is already proving why he's regarded as one of the most exciting young talents in football. Standing tall at 6 feet 4 inches, he possesses a rare combination of physicality and finesse. His ability to dominate aerial duels, hold off defenders, and link up play is complemented by an impressive turn of pace and a clinical finishing touch. These qualities make him the quintessential modern striker, a player who can adapt to various systems and thrive in high-pressure situations. During his debut season with Leipzig, Cesco's performances have been nothing short of stellar, racking up 18 goals across all competitions. His knack for delivering in crucial moments has solidified his reputation as a player for the big occasions. Despite his relatively young age, Cesco's footballing intelligence and work ethic set him apart. He reads the game with a sharpness that belies his years, often positioning himself perfectly to exploit defensive lapses. This ability, combined with his technical skill, makes him a nightmare for opposition defenses. For Arsenal, a club that values attacking fluidity and creativity, Cesco represents a perfect fit. His arrival could provide the cutting edge that Arteta's side has sometimes lacked in pivotal games. While Cesco's importance to RB Leipzig is undeniable, recent developments suggest that the German club might be preparing for his potential departure. Reports have surfaced linking Leipzig with a move for Noah Okafor, the talented Swiss attacker currently plying his trade at AC Milan. If Okafor does join Leipzig, it could signal a strategic shift, paving the way for Cesco to explore opportunities elsewhere. For Arsenal, this scenario could be the opening they need to reignite their pursuit of the Slovenian forward. It's worth noting that Arsenal's interest in Cesco isn't just about filling a position on the pitch. It's about making a statement. Signing a player of his caliber would send a clear message to rivals and fans alike. Arsenal is not just looking to compete, but to dominate. The Premier League is one of the most demanding competitions in the world, and success requires not only technical brilliance, but also depth and versatility. Cesco's skill set aligns perfectly with these demands, offering Arteta the flexibility to deploy him in various attacking roles. The prospect of Benjamin Cesco wearing the iconic red and white jersey is an enticing one for Arsenal supporters. His potential arrival could inject a new level of excitement and dynamism into the squad, elevating the team's attacking threat. Moreover, his presence would provide healthy competition among the forwards, pushing everyone to raise their game. For young players like Gabriel Martinelli and Edin Nketiah, working alongside a talent like Cesco could be invaluable for their development. With RB Leipzig seemingly clearing the path for Cesco's potential departure, all eyes now turn to Arsenal's next move. The upcoming transfer window promises to be pivotal, not just for the Gunners, but for the broader footballing landscape. Will Arsenal seize the opportunity to secure one of Europe's brightest young stars? Will Cesco's next chapter unfold at the Emirates? Only time will tell. What's certain, however, is that Mikel Arteta and his team are leaving no stone unturned in their quest to bring the glory days back to North London. Arsenal's season is slipping away, and there's one glaring issue that just can't be ignored: the lack of a true elite striker. It's a problem that fans, former players, and even past managers are all calling out. And the most frustrating part, it's so obvious. You don't need to be Pep Guardiola to see it. Arsenal desperately needs a striker who can consistently put the ball in the back of the net when it counts. And yet, for some reason, this issue doesn't seem to be a priority at the Emirates. Let's take a look at Arsenal's current attacking options. Kai Havertz, Gabriel Martinelli, Leandro Trossard. These are players who offer a lot of promise, but none of them are the clinical, ruthless finishers Arsenal need to lift silverware. Havertz, for example, has had his chances, but his performances have raised more questions than answers. It's not that these players are bad. They're just not the answer to Arsenal's striker problem. And still, Mikel Arteta continues to rotate them in the number 9 position, hoping something will click. The problem is, it's glaringly obvious what's missing, yet it hasn't been properly addressed since Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang left the club. Why is that? When Aubameyang left, he took more than just goals with him. He left a leadership void, a presence that demanded respect on and off the pitch. Since then, Arsenal have been trying to fill that hole, but it's clear that without a true goal-scoring threat up front, they're not going to compete for the biggest trophies. The club's attempts to get by without a proven striker have been admirable, but there's no hiding the fact that other elite clubs, like Manchester City, are continuing to strengthen their squads in this very area. So, why hasn't Arsenal made that move yet? Let's talk about the missed opportunities. Havertz's misses against Manchester United and Newcastle United were nothing short of criminal. In a season where every point matters, those are the moments that separate contenders from pretenders. An elite striker would have buried those chances without a second thought. It's not just about the missed goals. It's the missed opportunity to put games to bed when it matters most. And that's where Arsenal is falling short. A top-tier striker would have given them the clinical edge to win those games, maybe even secure some silverware. It's no coincidence that every major trophy Arsenal has ever won, including their most recent FA Cup, had a top-class striker leading the charge. Think about it. Thierry Henry, Ian Wright, and more recently, Aubameyang. These players were game-changers who delivered when the team needed them most. Arsenal has always been at its best when there's a striker to rely on for those key moments. The fact that the club hasn't filled that void in recent years has played a major role in their inability to secure the big trophies. Arsenal fans know it, the players know it, and even the pundits are saying it. Arsenal can't afford to keep pretending that a patchwork attack will get the job done. Which brings us to the January transfer window. This is the perfect time for Arsenal to act. Yes, the winter window is tricky, but top clubs know it's an opportunity to strengthen where needed, and Manchester City is a perfect example right now. They're making moves, strengthening their squad in areas they've identified as weaknesses. Arsenal, on the other hand, seem content with the current setup. But ask yourself this: how much longer can they afford to let this issue go unaddressed? Without that striker, they'll keep slipping further behind the competition. So here we are. Arsenal needs an elite striker. The time to act is now. The club risks falling short again, just like they did last season, if they don't address this glaring issue. The question is, will Arsenal take action, or will they continue to roll the dice with the likes of Havertz and Trossard up front? It's clear that without a proven goal scorer, Arsenal's chances of winning silverware this season will remain slim. The club needs to recognize that, sometimes, all it takes is one player to change everything. And right now, that player is a top striker. Arsenal fans can only hope the club's board and Arteta realize this before it's too late. Under Arteta's leadership, in his first full season, he guided the team to an FA Cup triumph, a moment of joy that gave fans a glimmer of hope for the future. Since then, Arteta has steadily rebuilt the squad, blending experienced players like Thomas Partey and Gabriel Jesus with homegrown stars such as Bukayo Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe. Arsenal's return to the Champions League this season, after years in the wilderness, is a testament to his hard work and vision. Yet, for all the progress, there's a lingering sense of frustration. Last season was a prime example. Arsenal led the Premier League for much of the campaign, playing some of the best football we've seen in years. But when it came to the crunch, the team faltered, allowing Manchester City to snatch the title. This season, the cracks are even more visible. The squad looks fatigued, the creativity has dried up, and the big money signings from the summer transfer window have struggled to make an impact. Fans are beginning to wonder, has Arteta hit a ceiling? To understand why this season feels so pivotal, we need to look at the broader landscape of English football. For the past decade, Manchester City have been the dominant force, winning titles with a ruthless consistency that's made them the envy of Europe. But even the greatest teams have their limits. This season, City appear more vulnerable than ever. Key players are aging, injuries have taken their toll, and even Pep Guardiola, the mastermind behind their success, seems to be facing challenges he's not accustomed to. This should have been Arsenal's moment. After years of building, the pieces seem to be in place for a serious title challenge. Instead, the performances have been underwhelming. Matches that should have been routine wins have turned into frustrating draws, and the spark that once defined Arsenal's play has been noticeably absent. If Arsenal can't capitalize now, when will they? And if Arteta can't deliver this season, should the club start looking elsewhere? If the club decides it's time for a change, the next question is obvious. Who could replace Arteta? Finding the right manager is no easy task, but there are several names that stand out as potential candidates, each bringing their own unique strengths and philosophies. Xabi Alonso, the rising star. Let's start with Xabi Alonso. The former Liverpool and Real Madrid midfielder has quickly established himself as one of the most exciting young managers in football. When he took over at Bayer Leverkusen, the club was in dire straits, sitting near the bottom of the Bundesliga. Within months, Alonso had turned their fortunes around, guiding them to a sixth-place finish. The following season, he took things to another level, winning the Bundesliga title and the domestic cup, all while playing an exhilarating brand of football. Alonso's tactical acumen is remarkable. His teams are disciplined yet dynamic, capable of controlling possession and launching devastating counterattacks. And his ability to develop young talent, as seen with players like Florian Wirtz and even Granit Xhaka, would align perfectly with Arsenal's philosophy. If there's any chance of bringing Alonso to North London, it's a move the club should seriously consider. Zinedine Zidane, the proven winner. Few managers in world football can match the pedigree of Zinedine Zidane. During his time at Real Madrid, he won 3 consecutive Champions League titles, cementing his legacy as one of the all-time greats. Zidane's managerial style is pragmatic yet effective, focusing on maximizing the strengths of his players rather than imposing rigid systems. This approach could be a breath of fresh air for an Arsenal squad that sometimes looks stifled by Arteta's tactical demands. Zidane's name alone carries weight. His presence would undoubtedly attract top-tier talent, giving Arsenal a crucial edge in the transfer market. However, there are questions about his availability and willingness to take on a project like Arsenal. He's been out of management since 2021, and it's unclear whether he'd be tempted by a move to the Premier League. Simone Inzaghi, the tactician. Over in Italy, Simone Inzaghi has quietly built a reputation as one of Europe's smartest tacticians. Since taking over at Inter Milan, he's won multiple domestic trophies and led the club to the 2023 Champions League final. Inzaghi's teams are known for their tactical flexibility, seamlessly transitioning between defensive solidity and attacking flair. While his preferred 3-5-2 system might require some adjustments to fit Arsenal's squad, Inzaghi's ability to adapt and innovate could make him an intriguing option. Plus, his track record of winning under challenging circumstances suggests he has the mental toughness to succeed in the Premier League. Julian Nagelsmann, the modern innovator. At just 37 years old, Julian Nagelsmann is already considered one of the most innovative minds in football. His high-pressing, possession-based style would complement Arsenal's current philosophy, while his emphasis on youth development aligns with the club's long-term goals. However, Nagelsmann's career hasn't been without its setbacks. His mid-season sacking from Bayern Munich raised questions about his ability to handle the pressures of managing a top club. While his potential is undeniable, Arsenal would need to weigh the risks carefully. Of course, there's a strong argument for sticking with Arteta. The progress he's made is undeniable, and rebuilding a club of Arsenal's stature takes time. Arteta has shown he can develop players, instill a winning mentality, and implement a clear tactical vision. Throwing all of that away for the uncertainty of a new manager could be a gamble that backfires. Moreover, Arteta's journey is far from over. He's still a young manager with room to grow, and the lessons he's learned from past failures could make him even stronger. Stability and patience are often underrated in football, and Arsenal may benefit from giving Arteta the time he needs to finish what he started. So, where does this leave us? On one hand, Mikel Arteta has revitalized Arsenal, turning them into genuine contenders once again. On the other, the club's inability to win major trophies raises legitimate concerns about his ability to take that final step. This season will be the ultimate test. If Arsenal fail to win the Premier League or Champions League, the club must seriously consider its options. But if Arteta can finally deliver the silverware fans crave, he'll cement his place in Arsenal history. What do you think? Is Arteta the right man for the job? Or is it time for a new chapter? Let us know in the comments below. The future of Arsenal could depend on it.